Greetings and welcome to another edition of The Great Goddess. Praise be to Goddess. Praise be to Goddess. Well, here it is another Wednesday, and today we have for you the topic of Goddess of the Future. What do we mean when we say Goddess of the Future? And what are the ramifications for us? Well, my statement is, do not worship the goddesses of the past. Instead, worship the goddess of the future. Now, what does that mean? Well, what it means is that the goddesses of the past were all right, but they were not real. They were not the real goddess. They did not represent what the real goddess represents. And they were creations of men, and a lot of them have sexist ideas attached to them. They're very prejudiced toward women, and a lot of them resemble women very closely, and not very nice women at that, like Venus or Aphrodite. Aphrodite is very mean spirited, and she resembles the worst of what is woman, the worst of womanhood, the most negative aspects of womanhood. So she doesn't represent our goddess. So do not worship the goddesses of the past. Worship instead the goddess of the future. Now, who is this? Who is this goddess of the future, and what does she represent to us? Well, she is the one of the past, present, and future. She is the one. This goddess of the future is and has been and ever shall be the goddess of the past, the present, and the future. But we only knew her in the future. We didn't know her in the past, except in the very beginning. People knew her, but people forgot about her very quickly. So people knew her in prehistoric times. People knew the goddess and worshiped the goddess in prehistoric times. But later on, they didn't know her. So she's the goddess of past, present, and future. But she will only know her like we know her now in the future. So because we only know her now like she is now in the future, she's the goddess of the future. She is the future goddess. And we all want to worship her because she is our goddess. And she is so good. She is so good that she puts a cloud over the goddesses of the past. The goddesses of the past are obscured by the magnificence of our goddess of the future. In fact, she's so magnificent and so amazing to us that we have forgotten the goddesses of the past altogether because of the goddess of the future. We've forgotten about them. And I know that there's a lot of people out there who still worship them, who still worship the goddesses of the past. There are always going to be people out there who worship the goddesses of the past and who have a hang up over that. But what we want to do is we want to move forward. We want to move forward into the future. And our goddess of the future is waiting for us there. So she's the goddess of past, present, and future, but she will only be worshipped as herself in the future. because that's when we knew her best, was in the future. She was also known to the people of the past. She was known in prehistoric times, as we've mentioned before. But she'll be known best in the future, which leads me to my other statement, which I would like to make. Do not worship a goddess of many names in many guises. Instead, worship the one true goddess. She doesn't need a lot of names. The only name she needs is goddess in whatever language is spoken. So, in Greek, she would be Thea. To the Latins, she would be Dea. And to the Hindus, she would be Devi, or Devi. It's sometimes pronounced different ways in different dialects from India, but Devi is the basic name. And she will always be known as goddess in whatever language is spoken, because she's our universal goddess. She's not a goddess belonging to a specific place in time. She belongs to all time. So she should be known as goddess so that everybody knows who you're talking about. The goddess. The one and only goddess of everyone and everything. Not the goddesses of the past. She's the goddess of past, present, and future. She belongs to all time, not just a specific time in the past. So that's my message. Worship the goddess of the future. And everybody have a great week. And I'll see you next time.